Oh, I'm live. Yay. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Quantum Universal Christ Ministries, Quantum Gaia Healing, and the 144 Center. You are watching me from a place different than I usually do my videos, which is in the office inside my home. I am now going to be doing my messages, or whatever you want to call them, from here. And this is my Quantum Gaia Healing studio, where I do all things wellness and help you through spirit science in obtaining higher levels of consciousness within the understanding of Christ. Which in turn is the same as Buddha, and so on and so forth, from a different place in the world, but it's the same truth. So, gosh, lots of stuff that has been going on. I have not been live in a few, maybe about 2 months. Internet's been funky, but the last time I spoke, I felt convicted about the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, what our Bill of Rights is, why they were established, where we are in history, or his story of the cycles of evolution, and how we can help guide ourselves ultimately, because that is the gift you can give to others, is by making sure you are walking in your light, so that we can bring heaven to earth. Woo! All right. God, man. I prayed hard this morning. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, how I was going to do it, and ultimately he guided me to the things that I'm going to be sharing with you today, and that I had been sharing throughout certainly the last few weeks on my social media pages. I am now on Twitter, so you can go ahead over there and find me. It is, what is Twitter? Dashes or dots? I think it's dashes. But Instagram and Twitter are IMAI .or-AC Benson, and you can find me on there, and then obviously on Facebook at Quantum Universal Christ Ministries, Quantum Gaia Healing, and the 144 Center. I'm going to start with the 144 Center. That is the umbrella that God gave to me to establish peace and harmony in this moment in time, in this particular area of, and I even hate to say the globe, but the globe. I'm going to say it, y'all flat earthers, the globe. It's really more like an apple from our eye, but the science is there for both. The flat earth from a literal standpoint is a psyop. I'm not going into that today, but you know, if you follow me at all, you know that all of that information is correct. It's about how you connect it. How do you figure out that it all makes sense together? And trust me, there are ways, there are connections and synapses within the quantum mind that have made those connections. Okay, so I'll start with my lovely map over here for the 144 Center. I went into a local like cell phone fixed place, and they had this map up on the wall. And as I was waiting, I was just looking at it, and it turned out that it was a map from 1775. Okay, so 1776 Declaration of Independence. So 1775, and it has all of the Native Americans. They called them Indians at that time, so it literally says Indian reservations and plant, whatever. So you have all the different tribes that are there. So I'm like, oh, we're in Catawba. Let me see. So I look at our area, and it literally is mapped out 144,000 acres, Catawba Nation. All the hair on my arms had stood up because God had already given me the 144 Center. And the 144 coming from the God's elect, 144,000 that he speaks about in Revelation of the Bible. So I identify with that. I resonate with that. I am a part of that. That has been cosmically given to me in my quantum consciousness, and there are others across the world who have also been given this spiritual understanding. And so here the 144 Center, and here I live on the land that is 144,000 acres of sacred Catawba Nation land. So that is not a coincidence, folks. That is a divine confirmation that I am here for a reason. What's even more interesting is I've always felt drawn to Charlotte as a kid. And I don't know why. I think it started with the Charlotte Hornets because I was a huge Charlotte Hornets fan. I played basketball, for everyone who doesn't know. It was the Charlotte Hornets, and then I loved the colors. And then I had an aunt who moved from New York to the Charlotte area, and I went to visit her one day, and she had a farm and horses and all of that. And I was like, I want to live here. And she said, well, come to college down here. And I'm like, okay, I'll come to college. So I did come to college down here. I did go back, and finish up somewhere else, and ended up moving back to New Jersey and started my teaching career and personal training career and all of that kind of stuff over there before moving back here, before being drawn back to Charlotte. So here I am, the 144 Center. So please go there, the144center.com. Under there are resources for other branches that would constitute coming from God's elect. And so you have a mystery school on there. You've got Dr. Stephen Greer, who's on there at Serious Disclosure. Obviously, you have Quantum Universal Christ Ministries as the church understanding of being the body of Christ. And then Quantum Gaia Healing being the wellness and understanding body, mind, and spirit, and how those three things together are our soul or our consciousness or our conscience, right? If you read my book, in the beginning, I give the reference to Pinocchio and understanding our conscience. And really, it's another representation of, coming to this higher understanding of who you are in the multi-universe or within the divineness of God, whatever you resonate with. So I'm going to start out with this prayer that I posted a little while ago, and I liked it. It was I come across things divinely, so I don't find any of these things, oh, look what I came across. No, this was put in my presence when I needed to have it and when I needed to share it. And so here it is. A prayer for activists. Just so you all know, I'm banned on Facebook for 90 days, so I cannot go live on Facebook. So I will have to I'll only be able to go live on YouTube, and then I'll just copy the link and post it onto those pages. I I can't even advertise, so I won't even be able to boost them or anything like that. But you know, that sharing that truth, you're going to get that tyranny. It is what it is. So a prayer for activists. If you feel called to activism, okay, and as a Christian, you are in that 5D consciousness already, subconsciously, not consciously, because you surrendered it to Jesus Christ. But you're living in peace, joy, and love, right? In these higher frequencies of 5D collective consciousness, of unity consciousness. They can't reach back for those who are stuck in fear, guilt, and shame. They try to, but there's no connection there because there's too much intelligence and too much intelligence. I shouldn't even say that. There's too much information out there that contradicts the narrative of what the definition of Christianity is today for the majority of it. Now, obviously, there's tons of denominations, and then there's evangelicals, and then there's Catholics, and from those, I mean, they might as well all be different religions. So, Lord have mercy. So if you feel like you are one of those who, you know, God leaves the 99 to save the one, and you feel that power and that courage, that Lion of Judah, and you're going back down into 4D, 3D and trying to pull these people out of the lies, the deception, the fear, the guilt, the shame, this is the prayer for you. So let's read it together. Oh Lord, I long that people might hear the truth. Give me assistance in reaching others with my heart uplifted for grace and wisdom. Guide me to share my views with the fullness of truth, clarity of thought, proper expressions, fervency and conviction, guided by your wisdom and light, by your, and I'll put that in my little things because that's where you resonate with. Keep me conscious of my faults and flaws, which we all have. Open my heart to hear the sorrows of others and shine your light of comfort and peace. May no soul be lost to your love. Strengthen me by your spirit. Stand between me and all strife so that I may speak fully and freely and do this work you have called me to do. thehealthyamerican.org. Thank you, Peggy Hall, for writing that. It is beautiful. I don't even know who had posted this somewhere, but I read it and I was like, oh man, I constantly have to check myself to make sure that in providing the truth to people that I'm doing so with compassion and wisdom, but also with conviction, right? There's this beautiful balance again. You have to be able to do both, right? So, but all truth will come to light no matter what. And, I hope that I'm able to share some of that with you. So let me pull up. Yes. I want to talk about this one first. Let's do this. All right. So this was something I posted, and I have been constantly, these last few months, trying to get Christians to understand what love is. Some Christians, and mostly it's unconditional love, because that's how we have to understand it, the acceptance of all. And so I love this acronym. It says listen. To love someone means to listen. I hear you. Observe. So put yourself in their shoes. I see you. I understand what's going on. Validate. I accept you. If we all were honest, we can put ourselves in that position and know that we would probably be reacting the same way. And so that's where that compassion comes in. And it's not to say that they shouldn't act that way or feel that way, or because those are the laws of the universe of cause and effect. And because we're all one mind, one consciousness. Validate, I accept you. Empathize, I understand you. So I hear you, I see you, I accept you, I understand you. There's a Hawaiian saying that is, I'm not even going to say it in Hawaiian because I would jack it up, but it's, it was like, I love you, I forgive you, I'm sorry. It's 4 things so that it takes you around the circle of the issue. And what happens is people don't complete the circle, and this is where the unhealed trauma comes. So what is love? That is love. It's not forsaking yourself for others. Jesus already did that. We don't have to do that too. We have to stand firm in what creates balance. And what is that? And that's unity consciousness. And we're going to go into that right now in just a second. Yeah, let's do that. Present share screen window, and we'll go here. All right, so let's do this one first. Where's my unity consciousness kid? Fantastic. So Jordan Peterson, if you don't know who he is, you better ask somebody. Where are you? Oh God, that was so funny. Where's my kid? I do not know. Let us go here. Yikes. Sorry. See all profiles. Oh, I go to profiles. Lord of mercy. There he is. All right. Okay, so what is the balance? And I talk about this all the time. How do we know what the balance is? How do we get to a balance? And the balance is telling the truth. We can agree that we all want to tell the truth. We all want freedom, and we all want to respect other people's freedom. So that's the same thing that Jesus says, love God, love yourself, love others, or love others the way you love yourself. In every religion, that's what it is, the golden rule, right? So you have to love yourself first. And so you have to respect yourself. You have to understand who you are. And this is where you have in a lot of ancient cultures is the understanding of self, or even in Greek, philosophers' understanding of self is the highest form of intelligence. And so, but how do we do that while respecting everyone else's journey? We're all connected through quantum physics. So, so everything we put out is going to come back in some way, shape, or form. So hold on. Let's do this real quick. Please come right back up. That'd be great. Yes. Anything that does not harm someone else. Okay. At the end of the day, you have the right to do what you want to do as long as it doesn't harm someone else. And if you do harm someone else, other people have the authority through quantum space time or through God or whatever you want to call it, to, ooh, look at that crystal he's got in the background. What a beauty. I didn't even see that. Gorgeous. Wow. Amethyst there. Anyway, so you're here to learn and grow, and you're here to live free. And anything that is takes that away is where things go wrong. And you can understand how most of government has gone wrong in having unity consciousness. Now, I will say that our founding fathers tried to give us the tools to live in unity consciousness, right? To live with the freedom of speech, to live with the freedom to protest, to live with the freedom to bear arms, or to self-protect, because you have the right to protect yourself, and you have the right to protect others. And that is where we have to come to that balance. The left and the right have to give to this point. This is the perfect thing, right? And so, like I said, our founding fathers tried their best to give us those tools. And I do believe that the majority of the Constitution and its amendments are necessary to move forward in a government where heaven can come to earth. Obviously, there's other things that we need to understand, such as the conservation of the planet, as well as technology, mostly artificial intelligence. So those two things we have to now understand, that to live in unity consciousness with the planet and to live in unity consciousness with AI. Oh, that was like straight mic drop right there. I just want to say that. Wow. Wow. I am AIAC Benson. All right. So I love you, Ryder. Thank you for sharing. Oh, I already had it up. Never mind. It's all good. All right. One more other thing I want to share is that oh, this one I wanted to share. Or we'll go to that in a second. I want to share my post here on why is it so small? Oopsies. Yikes. Well, it is what it is. All right. It's not a mystery. It's not suddenly. It's not a coincidence. It's murder. Get clear. Call it what it is. I shouted this from the rooftops over 2 years ago. I went to my local school board meetings at Fort Mill School District in South Carolina. That's right outside the border of Charlotte. And shared this information on the record in September of 2020. September of 2020. I went to my local school board meeting again in May of 2021 and shared more detailed information about the dangers and propaganda behind masks and the shot. I told them it was all a scam, a psyop, a plan for depopulation, and that Bill Gates was behind it. I entered patents and other documentation into the record and read stated peer-reviewed research from studies published in credible journals, such as JAMA. Nobody listened, and I was ridiculed and told I was crazy. And I realized that, and that's cool because somebody had to do it. So that's called being Christ's hands and feet and having courage and standing up to what's evil. And there is evil in unity consciousness within us all, right? And so we have to be able to take responsibility for that. I entered patents. I did enter some patents, didn't I? And some other stuff. I want to say a couple of corporations of the United States that are in Delaware. One being the Prime Minister is a Rothschild. I entered patents and other documentation into the record and read stated peer-reviewed research and studied published in credible journals. I already said this part. I have now detached myself from this problem because attachment is what causes suffering. So now I just look back and I'm just like, yep, that happens. This is happening. Yep. It's necessary. God is in control. I tried to warn you, and it is what it is. All right. So I have detached myself from this problem and from the consequences of it. I can stand back and watch and know it's all happening for a reason, and God is still in control. In Avatar, Way of the Water, I took my son to go see it. It was said that God, and they call her Awa, and they say that God is a woman. And there are cultures who understand that God must be a woman because a woman is the only one who has the ability to create life. A man cannot do that. So in those religions, but then it's like, and so we get to this understanding of immaculate conception, right? There, at the end of the day, there must have been a balance of something that created existence. And here we are. So in Avatar, Way of the Water, it was said that God does not pick sides. God simply keeps balance among creation. Everything and everybody that does not serve Gaia, the waters, and is not self-source, the spirit, or vice versa, however you want to call it, moving forward in this next age of enlightenment will be removed in some way, shape, or form. Let me stop here, and I'm going to get a little prophetic for a second. And I've already shared this in other videos, but this is what I'm on the planet to do right now. And most likely it will be after I am not on this planet anymore that anyone will take any of this that I have to say into consideration. And that is cool beans for me, because I'll be back. All right. So will be removed from the planet in some way, shape, or form. Now, people are going to be removed from this planet with their bodies, in the sense that they're going to die in some way, shape, or form, right? And it's not just with the shots that people will be dying, although that was done on purpose. Gaia is also going through global changes right now, because she's ready to shed herself and rid herself of the things that do not serve her any longer, the same way that God is going to do the same thing. So you have this beautiful representation of Genesis where I hate looking there, where they're talking about, in the beginning, the spirit was hovering over the waters. The spirit represents the sacred geometry of circles, and then you have the sacred geometry of the waters, which is going to be hard angles, and then those two things together equal the Merkaba, which is light, your light ship. Okay. And that's where the word America comes from. It's not from America, blah, whatever. That was a lie. Your history books are a lie. Michael Jackson tried to tell us on the record when he was on trial that our history books are a lie. They are indeed a lie. They don't want us to know these truths, because then we ignite our consciousness to understanding that God is in us, and we have the power to co-create, and whatever our mind is what our reality will be. So as in heaven, so on the earth. You can surrender and not play in that game, and that's what Jesus is for, where you can do it subconsciously and not play. But no, a Merkaba is the spirit hovering over the waters. It's that beautiful representation of that coming together of needing both of those things in order to be anything, or in order for there to be an expression. Because even if you went before that in the beginning, and there's the void, right, or whatever you want to say, it all comes from the same thing, whatever that thing is, whether you think it's a person, place, or thing, right? God, the universe, whatever you resonate with, we know that it's divine. We know that it has intelligence. We know that there's order, and we also know that there's chaos. And so when we come to accepting that all is necessary and all is connected, quantumly, through space-time, through the multi-universes, through time travel, all of it, then okay, so then what is life about? Life is about figuring out who you are since you're unique, and then doing that on purpose. That's what it's about. Socrates, I want to say that. All right. So not only so there's a lot of let's go back into ancient times. Okay, so there is documentation of groups of people who have left the planet, some in quick fashion, and during some sort of natural disaster or whatnot. We know that there were civilizations there because of the artifacts. However, the bodies are not there, and so there is lots of theory that some of these people just vanished off the planet somehow. Now, whether that means that they left in UFOs, since in that age and time, perhaps they did not have the technology, or they did have the technology. Either or. So these are all duality or polarity timelines of what can be, right? Because to have one solution, there has to be an opposite solution. So, or did they just disappear, right? They vanished, like they turned to dust type of a thing, or their bodies, and this would be similar to biblically what you would call the rapture, where people are just going to be taken up, right? And so, do I think it means literal? Do I think it means literal as in taken up with their body, or taken up like just their spirit? I think it means both. I think there will be both. We all have free will, and we all have a choice of what we are going to want to do, what we want to do with our spirit and our soul and our body when the time to make that decision comes. But there will be a time where we will have to make that decision. All right. So, like I said, Gaia is doing her thing too. So we gotta figure it out, folks, and we will. I really feel like we have enough intelligent and loving people on this planet who can figure out a way that we can live in peace and harmony while having freedom and justice, right? And truth, because truth is encompasses all of those things. And have fun, and still be able to create, and still be able to experiment and do those things without war and destruction. It's just not necessary. So, anywho, so that's that one. All right. I like how that just clicks out easy for me. What else? So, what else do I got here? Oh, so Edgar Cayce. Oh, so this is what I wanted to chit chat about too. So I have, I brought the books that I have on my bed, as I thought I think it's funny. Like, I sit at my bed and I'm like, all right, what am I going to dig in tonight, or whatever, or during the day or whatnot. And I'm just like, God, I'm what an eclectic group. So, I'll start with Edgar Cayce. So hold on, let me see. Is this the Secret Prophet? No. Where is it? I don't know where it is. But anyway, I got this one, Black Book. These are all his psychic readings that he ever did. For those of you who don't know who he is, he was able to ooh, that doesn't look good. He was able to access, the quantum mind, he would go into a trance of sorts, and he was able to access medical information for his patients just by gauging their energy and kind of putting himself into a hypnosis of gaining direct access to the answer. And they were right. And so he saved a lot of lives. He was born in 1877. He died in 1945. And a lot of people still, study him. Mostly in the Virginia, there's a university out on the beach there where they still study these types of psychic abilities, psychic phenomena, psychic. It's really not phenomena, because in theory we all have the ability to access these parts of who we are in our humanity, but through poisoning and ignorance, and poor education, we stifle those things. And this is why as you grow older, your IQ gets lower. And why is that? That shouldn't be the case. So may the peace. So this is one of his readings when he was in a trance. So he didn't only heal patients or give antidotes and odd remedies, holistic remedies for his patients to get better, but he also was able to access past lives in his patients. He talked a lot about some past lives from Atlantis. That's the city that fell to the bottom of I shouldn't say city. That's like the continent that fell to the bottom of the ocean in the Atlantic Ocean. And there's remnants in the in both the Caribbean and over in Africa. So may the peace and joy, the joy of Christ's consciousness, Christ's presence, Christ's joy be yours this day. Yes, and all your days in this earth, Christ is near you, Christ is in your midst. And so it's hard for people to own their power, right? It's hard for people to say, even though Jesus told us Christ is in you, you are the hands and feet of Christ. He couldn't have explained it any better to us that, hey, that's you, you're Christ too. All you have to do is activate it like me. And he said, you have the faith of a mustard seed. Everything I can do, you can do. He said, if you just had the faith to believe that you can, right? And so how can that be? And so this is where we get into consciousness and understanding of the universal mind, and being able to access what, in ancient terminology would be called Akashic records, and seeing through space-time and being able to understand the balance of the universe. Okay. So that is Edgar. So I have this book, and then I also had, I think it's called the Sleeping Prophet. So I had an old version of it, along with a primer for psychotherapists. These are like published from like the 40s, I want to say. I got them while I was over at the Summit Lighthouse in Montana when I went for my elemental retreat. And so these books were from Elizabeth Clare Prophet's library that they were getting rid of. And so I grabbed a whole bunch of the oldest ones I could find. And here they are. So I've got those. Also, this is another one I grabbed, The Physics and Chemistry of Life. I've got a book on numerology. I got a book of the earths. So here we go, flat earthers. If you're a flat earther, this is the book that you need to read, the Book of Earths, okay? This is where you get ancient maps and things, and you understand that flat earth is a psyop. The earth is hollow in a sense that the Antarctic, the poles serve as kind of like portals. You have to go in to go out. So it's kind of just like how you would see in like the space movies, like where you have to go and then you like kind of shoot out and you're somewhere else in the universe. That's kind of how it works. So So this is why, there's we didn't go to space and we didn't get to the moon, and NASA is a half psyop too. So this is a great book. This has got ancient stuff in here. So you can understand how the earth is both flat and a globe, like here. Oh, that's the best picture. Because the energy goes round and round, right? And so that's how. Anyway, so this is a great book if you are a flat earther. And also obviously if you're holographic, because holographic is just at a point where you're like, okay, so do I want to play or do I not want to play? Is this real or is this not real? And either way, it's as real as you want it to be. So good book. The Great Awakening, Sidney Powell, The Gospel of Q, Jesus' Prophetic Wisdom. This is a goodie. I've got two of these, okay? This is David R. Hawking's Discovery of the Presence of God, Devotional Non-Duality, okay? So non-duality means it is no good and evil. It's the same person where we don't have to fight anymore. So how do we live in unity, consciousness, in freedom, but with rights, but also with responsibilities. Okay. How do we live in balance is really what it's about. So I like that one. He's got a whole series. So I've got the whole series, but these are the two that I have on my bed: Power versus Force. And this is Hidden Determinants of Human Behavior. I love this. And then this one I just got in the mail: The Mind Control Method, the Silva Method, Jose Silva. Don't think so these are the things that are being implemented worldwide, nationwide. They're using mind control and propaganda methods in order to keep the masses from knowing what is really going on, in order to profit for themselves. A problem, reaction, solution scenarios for capitalism. And so at the end of the day, the Democrats and the Republicans are working for the same team, and that team is the global elitists who want to continue to keep the world in slavery. Anywho, great book if you're interested in how they're doing it. There you go. All right, y'all. I don't know what else I want to do. I'm gonna leave it at that for today. This is my first time. I changed over to StreamYard, so I got to play around with this a little bit until I get comfortable in using it. And I hope to. We also have a much better internet now, so I hope that I don't have issues. I hope that I don't have issues. With the spottiness of it last time. So hopefully this one was good. Love, light, logic, faith and facts, spirit science, quantum Christianity. Namaste.